Let me ask you something before we even get started. When was the last time you sat in a quiet room, no music, no phone, no distractions, and just felt it? That ache, that question you don't even say out loud anymore because you've asked it so many times it feels embarrassing. God, where is he? Maybe you stopped asking. Maybe you got tired of the silence. Maybe you convinced yourself that faith means pretending you're fine with waiting. So you smile at church, you say the right things, and then you drive home alone, and the weight hits you all over again. I need you to hear this before anything else I say today. That silence is not God's absence. It's His workshop. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what He's actually building. Because I promise you, what's happening beneath the surface of your waiting season is far more intentional than it looks from where you're standing. Stay with me until the end. Because around the 12-minute mark, I'm going to share something that completely rewired how I think about divine timing. And it's something most people only understand after the blessing arrives. Today, you're going to understand it before. Here's a question I want you to sit with. Are you waiting for love? Or are you preparing for it? Because those two things feel the same from the outside, but they come from completely different places on the inside. Waiting is passive. Waiting is watching the clock. Waiting is refreshing your phone, hoping something changed overnight. Waiting is, when is it my turn? Preparing is different. Preparing is active. Preparing is becoming. Preparing is, even when you don't see anything moving, trusting that you are not standing still. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, God makes everything beautiful in its time, not in the time you planned, not when your college roommate got married, not when you thought you'd have it all figured out, in His time. And here's what I've come to understand about that verse. Beautiful things require a process. You don't plant a seed on Monday and harvest on Tuesday. There is root work that happens underground, completely invisible, that makes everything that comes up later possible. Your waiting season? That's root work. And I know, root work doesn't feel glamorous. It doesn't make for a great Instagram caption. You can't take a picture of your roots and show people what God is building. But the moment the tree breaks through the ground, everybody suddenly wants to talk about it. Don't despise the underground season. Now, I want to talk about something that most relationship messages in the church skip over. Because we love to talk about Ruth and Boaz, we love to talk about timing, we love to talk about your season is coming, but we don't often talk about why some seasons last longer than others. And it's not because God forgot. It's not because you did something wrong. And it's definitely not because you're less deserving than the woman who got married last spring. It's because some of us, and I say us because I've lived this, are carrying wounds that we haven't fully handed over yet. And a wounded heart, even a praying heart, even a church-going heart, will filter love through fear. Let me explain what I mean by that. There's a version of brokenness that's quiet, polished, functional. It doesn't look like falling apart. It looks like a woman who has it together, who shows up, who serves, who prays, who helps everybody else, but who, at 11 p.m. when the house is quiet, hears a voice that says things like, "You're too much. You're not enough. Something is wrong with you." If you were different, He would have stayed. Can I ask, do you know that voice? Because that voice isn't conviction. That voice isn't the Holy Spirit. That voice is the residue of old pain that never got properly processed. An ex who left without explanation. A relationship that promised everything and delivered nothing. A moment where you made yourself small to keep someone comfortable, and they left anyway. Jeremiah 29:11 says, God has plans for you. Plans for peace, not for harm. Plans to give you a future and a hope. Not a future of settling. Not a future of emotional debt. A future of peace. But here's the part nobody says out loud. God often has to heal the woman before He can send the man, because a healed woman receives love differently than a wounded one. A wounded woman mistakes intensity for intimacy. She mistakes chaos for chemistry. She holds on to things that are hurting her because at least the pain is familiar. She doesn't trust the calm because calm feels boring compared to everything she's been through. I'm not saying this to convict you. I'm saying it because it's not your fault. And recognizing the pattern is the first step to breaking it. Some of the relationships that didn't work out, God wasn't punishing you. He was protecting you. He saw further down that road than you could, and he closed a door that looked like your answer but would have become your regret. That's not a delay. That's a rescue. Drop in the comments. Have you ever looked back at a relationship that ended and finally understood why God closed that door? I want to hear your story. All right, let's talk about Ruth. But not the version you've heard 100 times. We all know the ending. Ruth meets Boaz, they get married, their lineage leads to Jesus Christ. Beautiful story. But I want to back up and look at something that gets glossed over every single time. Ruth had a choice point. When her husband died, she had every right, culturally, logically, practically, to go back to Moab, back to her people, her culture, her comfort zone. Start over. Nobody would have blamed her. It made sense. But Ruth looked at Naomi, a grieving, bitter, empty-handed widow, and she said something that changed the trajectory of her entire life. Where you go, I will go. Your God will be my God. She chose alignment over comfort. She chose covenant over convenience. And then, this is the part I want you to really sit with, she went to work. She went to the fields to glean grain, to provide for Naomi, not to be seen, not to be chosen, not to catch anyone's eye. She wasn't looking for Boaz. She was being faithful to what was right in front of her. And Boaz noticed her. Not because she was trying to be noticed, because her character was louder than her strategy. Here's what's wild, though. Boaz was in her world the whole time. He was a relative of Naomi's. He was already close, but his eyes weren't opened until the right moment. And that's a spiritual principle that should take the pressure completely off of you. God opens eyes. You don't have to engineer that. You don't have to position yourself perfectly. You don't have to curate the right image. You don't have to figure out the algorithm of how to be found. Your job is to be faithful in the field God has assigned you. Boaz shows up when alignment happens, and alignment is God's department. Before I go to the next section, I want you to ask yourself something honestly. What is the field I've been assigned to right now? Am I actually in it? Or am I standing at the edge waiting for someone to notice me from across the fence? Because Ruth didn't get noticed from a distance. She got noticed up close, in the work. I want to dismantle something that I think has done enormous damage to Christian women looking for godly relationships. We've been sold a feeling, butterflies, electric chemistry, that dizzy, heart-racing, can't eat, can't sleep intensity that movies and music told us is the proof that it's real. And I'm not saying emotion is bad. Emotion is beautiful, but some of us have been confusing anxiety with love. Let me say that again. Some of us have been confusing anxiety with love, the racing heart, the constant wondering if he's going to text back, the feeling like you can never quite relax, the emotional highs followed by devastating lows. We thought that was passion. We thought that meant it was real. Colossians 3:15 says something completely countercultural. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Rule, like a governing principle, like a filter you run everything through. Not excitement, not intensity, peace. When God's person walks into your life, something unusual is going to happen. You're going to feel clear, settled, like you can breathe. You don't have to perform or shrink or hustle to earn your place in the relationship. There will still be emotion, real, beautiful, genuine emotion. But it won't be built on the fear of losing him. It'll be built on the security of knowing you're both standing on the same foundation. Say this out loud if you can. I will not mistake anxiety for love. Peace is the language God speaks. And if you're in something right now that consistently makes you feel confused, less than, or emotionally exhausted, that's worth bringing before God. Not with shame, with honesty. Because he already knows. He's just waiting for you to bring it to him so he can show you what he sees. You've been patient. So let's talk about the signs, not superstitious signs. Not, he looked at me funny, so maybe that's my Boaz. Real spiritual indicators that God is actively moving in your love life, even when the external circumstances look exactly the same as they did 6 months ago. Sign 1. You're becoming more yourself, not less. This one is subtle, but it's powerful. When God is preparing you to receive someone, He doesn't shrink you down to a palatable size. He expands you. You start caring less about what people think. You start knowing your own voice again. You stop apologizing for your depth, your standards, your faith. That's not coincidence. That's formation. Sign 2. Weight is lifting. Old bitterness, old grudges, old, "I'll never forgive him for that." Things you've been carrying for years start losing their grip. You find yourself able to pray for people you used to resent. That's God doing interior renovation, because you can't properly receive something new if your hands are still full of something old. And this is the one that changes everything. You start wanting God more than you want the answer. This is the marker. This is the one nobody talks about because it sounds almost too spiritual to be practical. But it is the most practical sign of all. When your prayer life stops being mostly, "God send him," and starts being, "God, I just want to know you," something has fundamentally shifted. When His presence starts satisfying something that used to only ache, you're not just waiting anymore, you're ready. Because a woman who is complete in God doesn't chase, she doesn't grasp, she doesn't perform, she receives. And that's exactly the posture God is waiting to see. Not because He's withholding from you until you earn it, but because He knows that a woman in that place will steward the blessing correctly. If you made it this far, I want you to hear me say something directly to you. The fact that you're still seeking, still praying, still believing, that is not weakness. That is not naivety. That is one of the most courageous things a person can do in a world that tells you to lower your expectations and settle. Don't settle. Not because you're too good for anyone, but because God made you for something specific. And something specific is being made for you. Psalm 37:23 says, "The steps of a righteous person are ordered by the Lord." His steps are being ordered toward you, right now, in a process you can't see and He may not even fully understand yet. Your only job is to keep ordering your steps toward God. And when you two finally meet, it won't feel like luck. It won't feel like finally after all this time. It'll feel like exactly when it was supposed to happen. Because that's what divine timing does. It makes the moment feel inevitable. If today's message landed somewhere real for you, I want to help you go deeper. I put together a 10-day guided prayer audio experience specifically for women in this season. Women who are believing God for a covenant relationship and who want to do the interior work while they wait. Each day covers something different: healing from past relationships, building your identity in God, learning to recognize peace as a signal, and closing out with gratitude for what's already in motion. The link is in the first pinned comment. Go check it out. And before you go, subscribe if this is the kind of message your soul needs on a regular basis. Because this is what we do here. We go beneath the surface, we deal with the real stuff, and we believe God is still writing stories that haven't finished yet. Drop in the comments, "Still believing," if that's where you are today. I read every single one, and I'm believing with you. I'll see you in the next one.